Hey there! If you're interested in making your own privacy shields that are transparent in the front, here's how you can accomplish that. The thing I really appreciate about these privacy shields is that students can see me if they need any help, and I can keep an eye on them to see if they need any help. As far as materials are concerned, you're going to need some tag board, a glue stick, some clear tape, a paper cutter, and you'll also need a laminator to put it all together with. For each of the privacy shields that you make, you'll need to have 5 pieces of tag board ready. Then you want to take one of those tag board pieces and you're going to want to cut it into strips so that the strips run the long way on the paper, so that you have like the longest strips that you can make that are 1 inch in thickness. So once you have done that, then you'll be ready to start assembling your pieces. So now you will be working to assemble your 2 side panels and your central window. So you'll want to start by making your side panels, and you can do that by taking your 2 pieces horizontally and overlap them by about 1 inch. And that's about how much you'll want so that they'll be nice and tall and able to protect kids from seeing one another. So here you can see I've added glue and I'm about to overlap the pieces so they're nice and straight. If you're doing a batch of these like I am, it can be a good idea to set them on top of each other so that you can more easily position them so that they are going to be exactly the same height. So once you have your side pieces and your strips, you're going to want to assemble them so you can place the window in the middle and connect them together. You'll have your piece at the top, your piece at the bottom, and you'll want to have your side pieces, which will overlap significantly along each side. So I usually try to make sure that this corners are as square as possible. Make sure the heights exactly match. This is super important. And then you'll want to get your side pieces to line up nice and straight and overlap a little in the way that I'm showing you here. All right, you got it. Now you should be ready to start taping everything all together. So you'll add tape to the pieces to hold them together, including, of course, at your corners and any other place where 2 pieces are coming together. Once you have the whole frame taped and it's the same height as the side pieces, and you've taped everywhere along the outside, you'll want to push the pieces in so that they are, the side pieces in, so they are still having a tiny gap between the frame and the side pieces so that they are able to fold more easily. Make sure you have that little gap. It's super essential. Then you want to tape those side pieces on once you've positioned them so that they have that little gap. And I like to do it at the top, in the middle, and at the bottom. Once you've done that, you'll want to turn it over and add some tape on the back to secure the flappy parts, which I'm just about to show you here, so that those don't end up getting stuck in the laminator. As you can see, I've now taped down all the flappy parts and it's almost ready to go in the laminator. One thing to note is that the sticky tape will be sticking up, but that's going to get laminated, so there's no worries there. All right, laminator ready. Make sure that you put your piece in entirely unfolded, of course, and you're going to want to make sure it's going the long way unless you have a crazy wide laminator, which I don't think anyone has. And then you can start it going through probably pretty slow to make sure that it gets to the tag board and is able to keep being nice and warm and toasty as it's doing so. Here I am kind of goofing around and picking up the privacy shield as I put it in there, but it will straighten itself out pretty much if you just let it feed itself through. And as you can see, it's going to be adding that clear window by just adding the lamination to the middle of the window part. And there it goes. So exciting stuff. Laminating is super satisfying. If you're doing a batch of these, of course, make sure you count for about 3 seconds once the last piece is through before you put your next piece in, so you don't overlap because I don't think you want a really super huge privacy shield. So now your privacy shield is ready to be cut. Hooray! One important thing to note about cutting is you're going to want to cut right down to the edge so that you don't have any flappy lamination, making it hard for your project to stand up like it needs to. I like to store these folded up and all in a big, stack together. I'll sometimes clip them with a binding clip, and then they'll be ready whenever you need them to put up and use as you need. One of the things I really appreciate about these privacy shields is that they're actually, because they're so flimsy, kids can't really poke a hole in them with their pencil or anything like that. They just will tip over. They do sometimes get some dry erase marker or something else on them, but they can be wiped off pretty easily for the most part because of being laminated. There are only a few things I would caution you about, and one of them is that because the bottom was cut so close in order to make them nice and flat, they aren't liquid proof, and so if somebody spills something, you're going to want to make sure to get them up pretty quick because the liquid will seep right in between the two different plastic sides of the lamination. So that's one thing. Another thing you'll want to do is you'll have to be strategic because the kids on one side of your table and the other side of the table can actually probably see what one another are doing if they're clever like that. So I tend to strategically position the kids who are a little bit more like self-engrossed and not necessarily aware of what other kids will be doing in my positions at the sides. The ones in the middle really can't see each other, and those are where I put my super savvy kids so that I can make sure that they're not taking a peek at one another's work. Hey, so I hope you had a good time watching this video and that you'll try making these because they are super fun. Kids really enjoy them. They enjoy, they even will request them. They love this little opportunity to be in their own little bubble with their own little things and their whiteboard in here and their marker on the side or whatever they might have, because they just really enjoy the whole idea. They feel like they're one-on-one with you when they're really with all the other friends as well. So it gives you the best of both worlds in some ways.